Hello and welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, Zelius.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Charlie?
Not a whole lot. Now, I want to explain something really quick. I know that a lot of people are probably wondering, why is Zelius full screen and Charlie's like a little box? Okay, one, for some reason, I have to downgrade my stream rate, probably because I'm streaming I'm streaming and recording at the same time. And also, as soon as I put on that nifty little name thing right there, it also makes the screen smaller. So,
dude, didn't you just get a new computer that should be able to like handle this business?
it's my ISP.
Um,
It's not my computer. It's my ISP trying to do too much at once.
well, that's lame. Yeah, well, but I'm sure you have so many other choices and other companies to, share your business with, right?
You mean the crappier solutions?
Oh, right. Yes, all that competition.
Yeah.
Well, you guys might have some coming.
Oh, dude, as soon as Google comes through the neighborhood, I'm getting it in a heartbeat like that.
Everybody is, man.
All right, ladies and
But
gentlemen.
as Google come, watch as the competitors' speed magically increases.
Right, because they're going to have to take off their nice little bottlenecks they've created.
Yep.
All right.
Anyways, onwards we venture.
All right, I know that a lot of people that are probably not able to tune in right now, and it's because of Titanfall
Oh,
on the Xbox One, and the PC. Now, here's the really funny thing. I think the PC, I think the digital download is like 46 gigs or something like that.
holy shnikes.
43 of that is uncompressed audio files.
Goodness gracious. That's a lot of freaking audio. What about on the Xbox One? Is it compressed, or how'd they do audio on the One?
I don't know. I would love to find out. If someone wants to give me Titanfall, that would be awesome. I'm just saying, hook a man up.
Who doesn't want a free version of Titanfall, yo?
I know. Wow, that. Let me see if I can adjust my band rate back up or something, because that is god awful nasty. Wow, it is really bad. I don't know why.
Well, it's kind of funny because, like, I can tell by the image you have, like, it keeps on, whoa, you just went white. What the, what are you, like, it keeps on going, like, back and forth between, like, basically 8-bit bitmap and being clear.
Weird. I'll have to solve it another time. Anyways, for people who can't read the bottom, it says Charlie Hawkins editor and Alter Confusion, though that Alter Confusion looks really bad right now.
Yeah, it looks like something out of, like, a 1980 Amiga game.
Okay. Anyways, we're going to keep talking. We're not going to let this little graphical glitch ruin the day. Okay, let's see here. Like I said, Titanfall is out, so a lot of people are probably a little bit, I don't know, not there right now. As you might have noticed, I've been doing something slightly different episode every single day except for today, because we're doing our live broadcast this evening.
I thought you were just being a slacker.
Thanks, Zelius.
I try. Keeping it real, yo. That's my job.
Mm-hmm. In other news, okay, so Witcher 3 is being delayed till next year, which hurts me, and I'm curious to see if Zelius is hurt by this.
I'll get over it. I mean, I played The Witcher 1, I played The Witcher 2. I didn't beat either of them. I mean, I put hours into both, but it's one of those series where I'm like, I'm not like, let me put it this way, I'm not going to go out and buy Witcher 3 like when it comes out anyways. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's kind of like so probably I'll play Witcher 3 in like 2017.
All right.
Because that's when it'll be in the Steam sale bucket for $5 for the Ultimate Gold Edition. Because you got The Witcher 3, then you're going to have the expansion, and then you're going to have the expansion with the previous expansion, and then you're going to have the next. So there'll be a couple years out for, the Gold Edition to come out, and that's when I'll be like, oh, now I'll buy it. So I won't be playing The Witcher 3 for a while, it appears.
All right. Oh, these Sour Patch Kids are really sour.
Wow, imagine Sour Patch Kids being sour.
Um,
It's like when beer has alcohol in it. I'm totally shocked.
it's delicious.
Mmm, beer is delicious. Except for I'm not having any tonight.
All right, so a very interesting question was asked. Actually, I asked it on a fellow website, and that
Ooh.
was, can you consider all DLC as expansions to the game?
Versus what?
Can are all is all DLC expansions?
I guess. I mean, it sounds like at this point, it's more what are your semantics of video games versus what actually matters, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, it just seems very semantical. I mean, it's already a DLC. Does it matter if it's technically an expansion versus something else? You know what I'm saying?
I personally think that it does matter a hell of a lot. I know a lot of people want to say that DLC and expansions are the same things, but to me, expansions are something that expands upon the gameplay, gives you extra stuff to do, not pretty little costumes or extra guns
Okay, I
or
can see that. So, like, if you're buying like a new mount in World of Warcraft,
yep.
that's DLC. That's not really an expansion. Versus an expansion when you buy, Wrath of the Lich King, that's an expansion
Yes.
and a DLC.
Yes.
So everything is a DLC, but there's different types of DLCs.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. That makes sense.
It's kind of like apple is a fruit, but not all fruit are apples.
Yes. No, I will buy your argument, and not all apples are eatable either, because some you use some you game with,
Yeah.
or do stuff. But no, I can see that. So yes, in some obviously DLCs, even in the form of expansions, are more worthwhile than others,
Hmm.
as it seems like game companies more and more, for better or for worse, are relying on the DLC business model versus the $60 business model. Although it gets kind of frustrating when you have a game that's both $60 and then relies on the DLC model. Now, I think it's one thing, though, if they rely on the expansion DLC versus a $60 and then, oh, now you can get cosmetic DLCs.
Okay. Well, so you bring up the point of a lot. The unfortunate thing is a lot of game companies seem to be going the route of let's charge you with a $60 game, and let's then throw a bunch of DLC packs at you that I don't want to say they don't want to label it as required, but heavily recommended stuff. And so to really truly play the game, you actually have to buy a bunch of DLC packs. Now, my question is, what's if this is the way of the future, where you get the game but you don't really get it until you get all the extra DLCs that are like
Like
$5.99?
Day Zero DLC releases.
Yes. What would be the base price tag for you to get into the game and not feel like you're being robbed blind by this constant influx of DLC you have to pay for?
Does $0 count?
Sure.
Uh, I think it depends on the game, honestly. Um, I personally haven't really played a game where I felt kind of robbed by not getting the DLC on day zero.
Hmm.
But by the same token, I also don't really exactly purchase a lot of new games myself. I mean, I'm always buying used or 2 years after the fact or whatever.
Right.
From that standpoint, there is that. But if you look at, say, I guess I see it maybe more in the MMO world, because take, like, for instance, World of Warcraft, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know how it works, but is your World of Warcraft experience going to be complete without having the expansion?
Right.
Or actually, a really good one is actually probably the Civilization series.
Hmm.
Where with 4 and 5, because with 4 you have, I want to say it's like a Brave New World or something, or whatever it's called. I can't get the name of the expansion straight versus Civ 4 and 5.
Mhm.
But basically, the consensus is for both 4 and 5, you don't really get the complete Civilization experience until you buy those expansions.
Right.
But by the same token, when they came out with the original $60 version, obviously they were planning on doing expansions, but it wasn't like a day zero thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like after, people played Civ 5 for a year, it's like, oh, let's do this, this, and this. Now, it was really cheesy that they did with Civ 5, is they did have day zero DLC basically in the form of civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is just stupid. Because, like, you're already paying $60 for the game, and it's like, wait, now you want to play $2 to place the Babylonians? What the hell? Like, that's something that pissed me off, and like I'm like, no, I'm not paying. I paid $60 for a day zero to buy Civ 5, but I wasn't about to pay more money on top of that to add on that extra stuff, kind of like you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess $60 is the highest I'll go, but I'm unwilling usually probably to buy DLC right away too.
To be honest with you, I think when it comes to PC games, I think that I would be more comfortable if I know going into it that this game is going to have a very large amount or a good amount of DLC coming through that is going to cost extra money. I think that those type of games, I'm probably more willing to wait and expect that Steam deal that wraps everything up in a nice little bow. When it comes to console games, I mean, for me, that's still a different beast. But if I were to get a game day one, where the majority of the awesomeness that could make this game, the most amazing thing in the world, is yet to come, and I have to pay extra for it, I'm going to say I feel comfortable probably in the $20 range, because I'm thinking, let's say that you end up buying 8 expansion packs, $5 a piece. Now you're back up to the $60 game, and you probably have what I would consider a worthy $60 gaming experience.
But how often do new games come out on any console? That's $20. Aren't pretty much all new games on console $60?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but I think that we're going to see a shift in in the market. Now, I don't think it's going to happen in the console as quickly as it's going to happen in the PC. But the thing is, the PC is already doing it because of the digital distribution. That you can break down the price a lot faster to just the nuts and bolts price instead of all this like box CD manuals, all that stuff. Because there's a ton of free-to-play games that then say, hey, if you like this game enough, $2.99 will get you, I don't know, an extra inventory slot or something like that. Whereas I don't think that the oh my gosh, the where the money goes, the gateway, the payment gateway. I don't think it's sophisticated enough, or it's not built good enough in the way that the manufacturers of the platform want to get that cut of money. Because when it goes to the PC or your handhelds or whatever. Now I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think the only that's fucking brilliant. If this is the way it works, then my God, these people are brilliant. I can't believe I hadn't seen this before. Okay, free game. Okay, it's all in-game DLC. Free game, you got to utilize the platform's marketplace. Once you go in-game, now you're using the developer or the publisher's payment gateway, and the platform doesn't get a cut of the pie.
Well, yeah, like Final Fantasy XIV just came out on Steam.
Right.
So now, yes, if I were to buy Final Fantasy XIV on Steam, yes, Steam gets a cut of that initial purchase price, obviously.
Right.
But my subscription, yeah, Square Enix is not giving Steam a cut of that subscription because I'm going through the actual Square Enix marketplace to my subscription. I would imagine it'd be the same thing with in-game DLC. where they're not utilizing the Steam marketplace for additional in-game downloads.
Right. You know, now, of course, it is a very dangerous strategy to go that route of give a game for free and then think that you're going to be making all this money on the backside. But hey, there are games who have thoroughly succeeded at that. Case in point is the freaking Marvel Puzzle Quests that thankfully I've not spent a dime on in quite a while, but I've spent more money than I should have on that game.
Look how successful Farmville was for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Although I keep on getting daily invites for a new Saga game from a relative. I'm like, no.
Yep.
I don't know what game it is, but it's back with a vengeance.
Yep.
I'm not touching it. I'm like, no. I have time of my life for one MMO and a cat. That's about it.
Nicely put.
Any more is asking for trouble.
Oh, yes. Indeed. I agree.
But also interesting, kind of going back to the pricing model, if you also look at the indie games, they're coming out with, say, that $10 to $20 range. It almost seems like those games, though they're smaller in overall content, when they have that base value of $10 to $20, they also seem to be more complete in nature than like AAA titles. And that, if they're going to do another release, instead of like, for instance, say Trine, well, instead of, now you can play the Wizard for another $10, you can play the, Archer for another $5. No, we're just doing Trine 2 now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So some of these indie games, you buy the game, you're almost, if you're paying money for it, you're getting that complete game. And if you see something else, it's because it's a new game, not just a little tack on DLC.
Correct, and I think one of the reasons behind that is because a lot of these independent games are from developers or studios that aren't really tried and true, and so they're actually looking to have that great first impression, and I think that's what makes the indie scene such an amazing thing, because I'm sorry, but the majority of the developers and the publishers out there are with AAA titles are pushing out not even like a quarter of a finished product now, because they know they can get away with it. They know they can put that $60 price tag on the game. And yes, it's going to piss off some people, and sure, you'll lose a couple people, but hey, the vast majority of the people will still buy it because of brand loyalty. I know that brand loyalty is something that's kind of, moving over the horizon when it comes to video games, simply because everything is going multi-platform, but you still have the franchise loyalty, and so you can put out a piece of crap with the promise down the road of DLC that could help you, and because you already have a proven track record, people are willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. If the game sucks off the bat, that they'll try to fix it. I mean, you look at that game Elemental. Everybody abandoned ship, and it took like an act of God for anybody to go back. Hell, I still haven't gone back. I know that they've got they basically rebuilt the entire game. I don't have the time to worry about that.
I played it for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was a bad game.
Yeah.
It's another turn-based strategy game. And I'm kind of turn-based strategy gamed out. I've had enough, Civ 4 and Civ 5 in the last couple of years, so I'm like, I don't need to invest my time in another. And it wasn't a bad game. It's like it was basically Master of Magic revamped.
Well, I mean that's what the game was supposed to be until they ended up not being able to get the license at the end. And that's why I got the collector's edition. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to support this because I want to see it come back, and then it was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, micropros.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. Is there any other topics I really wanted to hit up real quick here? Okay. Real quick, something that's bugging the crap out of me right now about YouTube. For some reason, every single time that you try to grab the embed code for your YouTube video to place it on the website right now, it's adding a closed parentheses.
Ah! Damn it, Rose!
And I think Zelius just died. So I'm just going to keep going. It adds a closed parentheses, which means that every single time I embed one of my videos on the site and then hit save, if you go to the main news feed, you're going to notice that there's the title of the video and then just a closed parentheses just sitting there all by its lonesome because YouTube has decided to add it just for shits and giggles.
Mine doesn't do that.
Well, then I must be special.
Sorry, my cat knocked over a cup of water on purpose. I saw it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the exciting life of Zelius continues. I do want to mention that I am really excited about the fact that Gearbox and Telltale Games have come together to create a game called Tales from the Borderlands, which will be, of course, you know, Telltale is synonymous with episodic, like point-and-click adventure games, and to be able to grab onto that franchise of Borderlands, it's going to be interesting. Now, of course, you know, Borderlands is known for having like an infinite supply of randomly assembled guns that you could blow up everybody. And Telltale games are more point-click and less hack and slash-ish, or shoot them until they're dead-ish. So I'm very interested to see what the reaction of some of the hardcore Borderland players are. But I have to say that when this game comes out, I'm definitely going to have to try to get my hands on it because this looks like a solid game that I would love to invest some time in. So if anybody from Gearbox or Telltale wants to hook a guy up, I'm right here. You can find me at alterconfusion.com.
Hi, my name is Rose, and I'm a naughty cat who likes to knock shit over because I can.
Nicely put.
So I have my cup of water on my coffee table.
Uh-huh.
I see her slowly start to get out of the cup. Look at me and just kind of woof. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I guess that's the life of having a cat, though.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Usually I remember, like, when I have cups of liquids laying around to not leave them out for that reason, and obviously I forgot.
Zelia, so the masters want to know, what are you drinking?
Cranberry juice.
That's not impressive.
I like my cranberry juice, dude. It's full of, it's like wannabe fruit in the form of sugar.
Do you have a urinary tract infection?
No, I do not today.
You don't need to be drinking cranberry juice.
I just like the taste of it.
Gross. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you something that's actually really tasty.
Smitties!
Smittix, baby.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like I was saying, okay, South by Southwest happened over the week. Might still be happening. I don't remember.
There was a couple of people on my friends list who were there.
There was quite a few cool things that definitely came out of South by Southwest. As I already mentioned, the Tales from the Borderlands is definitely a game I'm going to have to check out. And of course, the Double Fine announced Costume Quest 2,
Woo!
which, depending on the price, might be a game that gets picked up so that the wife can have some fun gaming.
Has she played any good games lately? Busy with baby duty.
You know, she has gotten back into Ticket to Ride on her phone.
That's a fun game.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I'm trying to imagine that on a phone though, because like it's one of those games where like I need to see the entire board to know what's going on. So
you can zoom in and zoom out.
Yeah, I can. I guess if you know the board well enough for where the cities are.
Yeah.
But it seems like, especially, yeah. Maybe someday I'll have to get it on like my Android, but I play it on my PC.
Oh yeah, I've got it on the 360, on the iPad, iPhone, And of course, I've got the actual box game,
Woo, yeah.
which I actually broke out a couple weekends ago and
Nice.
got my ass whooped.
Who'd you play?
I played Jesse, his wife Stacy,
Ah.
and my wife Julie.
The only problem I run into with Ticket to Ride is if you play with somebody who's played the game like 8 billion times,
Yep.
then they know all the routes. And if you
Yep.
play with, like, if you play douchebag style, you're like, oh, you're going from San Francisco to Santa Fe.
Hmm.
I can tell by the first track you lay down. I'm going to block you now. I don't need that track, but I'm just going to be a douche.
That's why I never put, unless someone's trying to get close to that area, I put my tracks in the middle of nowhere. Rose is trying to kill Zelius again, folks. So if he mysteriously
I
starts
just
screaming,
like keel over and die. You don't know why.
yeah.
It's okay.
All right. Well, okay. Let's
I'm
get
sure
on.
it's like fine during the day. It's really during the sleep where you gotta worry.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I know that you've been waiting all day for this, so we're going to have to ask Zelius point blank. Zelius, are you still just playing Final Fantasy 14?
Yes.
Why are you saying no but saying yes? You're confusing people.
I'm playing the game of life and trying to make it one. Yes, I'm just playing Final Fantasy
Yeah,
14.
that's what I figured.
And actually, March 20. So they just came out with 2.16 a couple weeks ago, which was more of a. It didn't really add content. It was more of like a, hey, let's fix a bunch of shit that's already in the game. Basically, they did more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming out with 2.2. The director's name, who I'm not even trying to say his name because it's Japanese and they would epically fail. I think it's like Yoshi something.
Mm-hmm.
They come out with 2.20 March 27th, which happens to be the same day of Rebirth Souls, the Diablo 3 expansion. I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming out with the expansion, and then they're going to have a new trial, which is where, it's the quick, boom, go straight to boss. You don't have to worry about trash or anything, just fight a big boss.
Right,
So we'll have one of that. They're going to be adding cosmetics, which basically means that, like, you can keep the same gear, but you can wear, like, something fun looking. So, like, costumes, basically.
Right.
So they're adding that. They're adding, I keep on calling them porters, even though they don't call them that, but basically they're people who restore all your shit in them. They're basically banks. And they're adding, I forget what the term is, but basically it sounds like your porters will be able to do stuff in-game for you now besides just sell stuff or hold your items. It's like porter actions or quest or something like that. So it sounds like they'll be able to do stuff.
Interesting.
They're adding cultivation for your FC, so you can grow plants. Yay. And yeah, they're doing just a bunch of like little stuff. It's not like we're just adding a new dungeon and nothing else.
Right.
It's like a bunch of little tiny things here and there to hopefully get something for everybody. It's kind of seems like what they're going with.
Okay.
So, I mean, it sounds like, from, reading, community comments, it's one of those games where, like, the top end, rating isn't quite of a game like, say, Rift or World of Warcraft, where it'll just keep you going for, months on end because there's so much to do and people get bored of the end game because there's only so much to do.
Right.
But they keep on tacking on stuff, so it seems like they're listening to the user base in that regard. Because it's definitely not quite as hardcore as some other games, MMOs, which I'm perfectly fine with because I'm playing it, but it's not like I feel the need to log in every night and play for 3 hours.
Right.
I mean, if I don't log in for 2 nights, who cares? Versus when I was playing Rift or World of Warcraft. If you're not here every night, you're kicked.
Yes. That's a bad thing.
I mean, Final Fantasy IV, it's definitely intended more for the casuals with how it's kind of set up and structured.
Gotcha. Well, it is. I hate to say this, but it's refreshing when an MMO, the developers listen to the community and actually tweak it in a way that is beneficial for the gamers, but also doesn't break the system.
Yep. And that's obviously what you hope for is you don't want to, break the system when you add improvements.
Right.
Yeah, because it sounds like Final Fantasy 11. Basically, the community, Final Fantasy, the Square Enix people were basically silent.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy 11, like no communication with the community whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it sounds like there's a lot better communication going from Square Enix back to the community. Like, hey guys, this is what's going on.
Right.
Which is pretty nice to have.
Well, one company that first of all is actually kind of cool that they've got one office here in Atlanta. It's CCP. With the exception of like 2 of their releases, I mean, they have been like the most hardcore, whatever the fans think is best, let's do it. Now, of course, they accidentally slipped a bit when they were changing focus to Dust 514 to get that off the ground on the PlayStation, but they have tried desperately to rectify the situation by giving more and more attention to the community so that they can have the games that they want.
Right on.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 30-minute mark. So for the recording, we are going to sadly have to bid you adieu. So for myself, Charlie, and Zeelies, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.